Hello Lee Forest, welcome back to Mrs Hudson's kitchen. I hope you're all okay and that you're enjoying doing lots of baking during lockdown. I certainly am. Today we're going to make a sweet treat. We're going to make some Smartie cookies. I'm ready to do that, are you? So today the equipment that you need is you'll need a baking tray, and I've lined mine with some baking parchment or greaseproof paper. If you haven't got any, it doesn't matter, you can just put some grease on your tray before you pop your cookies in the oven. You'll need a metal spoon and a teaspoon to measure out your ingredients, and then you'll need some bowls to do your mixing in. And that's all the equipment you need today. Before you start cooking, you will need to clean down your work surface with some antibacterial spray, which I have already done, and you'll need to make sure you wash your hands really thoroughly so they're nice and clean. The ingredients that you need are 100 grams of soft brown sugar. That's 100 grams of soft brown sugar, 120 grams of caster sugar. That's 120 grams of caster sugar, 125 grams of butter or margarine, whatever you've got in your fridge, and 225 grams of self-raising flour. You'll also need some vanilla extract, and this is really cheap to buy from Asda. It's about 30p. So vanilla extract, an egg, just one egg today, a teaspoon of salt, I don't even know you can see that in my tub, a teaspoon of salt, and then the best ingredient, some Smarties, or whatever you want to put on your cookies. It doesn't have to be Smarties. So are you ready to do some baking? Here we go. The first thing you need to do is get a nice empty bowl, and you need to pop in your butter. Now if you've got an electric whisk, you can whisk with an electric whisk, but today I'm not going to do it with a whisk, I'm going to do it with my spoon, and you have to do something called creaming the butter. And what that means is squashing it really hard against the side of the bowl to make it look nice and creamy. So here we go. So you squash it really hard against the side of the bowl. Here we go. It's hard to start with, but it does get easier as you go. So it needs to be creamy. And just keep squashing it until it gets really soft and really creamy. And then you can start stirring it once it's got soft. A bit of elbow grease into it. There we go, it's starting to turn a paler shade. It's quite yellow when we started, and now it's starting to go a little bit more white. It's a bit of a hot day today, so it's melting very quickly. I think that will do. So let me just show you what that now looks like. Can you see how it's more white in colour? Brilliant. The next thing you need to do is take both of your sugars, so the light brown sugar and the caster sugar, and we're going to tip them in with our butter. So that was my light brown sugar. Here's my caster sugar. Now there is a lot of sugar in this recipe, so do take care. So you're then going to stir that into your butter mixture. Make sure there's no lumps in it, because sometimes sugar can be a bit lumpy. So you need to squash it all in. It's actually quite hard work, this is. Give you a bit of a workout as well. I'm just going to scoop that bit off because I can see that there's no sugar in that bit. There we go, my hands are nice and clean. Push it down. I can still see a couple of lumpy bits of sugar, so I need to get those incorporated into my mixture. Make sure all the sides are nice and clean on your bowl. I think we're about done. One last little squash to make sure there's no lumps. Then I'm going to get rid of the rest of my mixture off my spoon. There we go. So you'll end up with a mixture that looks a little bit like that. It's fairly stiff, The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Ooh. There we go. And you're going to pop in your teaspoon of salt and your egg. So do you remember we tap 3 times for our egg? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Then you can get your thumbs in and plop it in. If you want to crack it into a cup first, then that's absolutely fine to make sure you don't make a big mess. Then you're going to get your mixing arm back out and you're going to mix. Really hard. There we go. Now it looks a bit sloppy now, which is when we get to fold our flour in. So let me show you the mixture now. There we go. So it is a little bit more sloppy, but it's not quite ready yet. Let me show you our mixture. It's a little bit sloppy, but it's not ready yet because we've still got our flour to add, haven't we? So our flour, I think it's best if you just add a little bit at a time. You don't want to tip it all in one go. And then do you remember the other week we were looking at folding? Just fold your flour in and turn your bowl, fold it in. Make sure it's all incorporated before you put the next lot in. Otherwise it'll be a big job to try and fold it all in. So just a little bit at a time and then fold that in. We're going to do that with all of our flour until it's all incorporated in the mixture. And we should end up with a nice firm dough that we'll then be able to roll into little balls and make into our cookies. There we go, there's a bit more flour in my mixture, look. So let's get it all folded in. Oh, it's quite therapeutic doing this. There we go. I'm actually going to give it a stir because it doesn't matter too much this week whether we get lots of air into our recipe because it's not something that rises, is it, cookies? So we can give it a good mix. It's starting to get quite stiff now. My muscles are starting to ache a little bit. I think this will be my last load there. And we'll give it another good stir in. Oh, this one's a little bit harder to get in because the dough is actually quite stiff. It feels like it's not going to take the rest of this flour, but I think it will. So we can give it a squash and a squeeze, get all this flour incorporated in. If there's a few of you making these, you might want to take it in turns to mix because it is really hard work. There we go. I think that looks about done. Oh, lovely sticky mixture. There we go. If I tip it, it won't go out because it's solid. Okay, now this is the fun bit. This will make approximately 5 to 6 cookies. Okay, so you take a handful. It is messy, so it fills the palm of your hand, and you're going to roll it. You're going to squash it down. Say it is a very sticky job. You're going to place that on your baking tray. I will move the baking tray so you can see. Let me just wash my hands so you can see what's going on the baking tray. Pop the baking tray there for you. They don't need to be that big because they will spread out on the tray. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Smarties on my cookie. There we go. Now when you put the rest of them on the tray, you need to make sure you leave enough space for them to spread out. Let me just get a spoon out so I can spoon it into my hand. So it's just over a tablespoon, and then you roll it in your hand and pop it on the tray. Oh, they really are very sticky. I think I'm going to put the Smarties on at the end so I don't have to keep washing my hands in between every cookie. There we go. Oh, you'll love this if you love getting messy. I think I'm going to pop it on the tray to pat it down. It's a bit easier. So, spoonful of mixture. A little ball. Oh, you need to handle it fairly gently, otherwise you'll just end up in a big sticky cookie mess. There we go. I think I'm making them a bit bigger each time. But do make sure you don't make them too big, otherwise they will spread into each other and stick together. I think I'm actually going to get quite a lot more than 6 out of this recipe. I think there might even be enough for 12. So I'm just going to do a tray of 6 for now, and then I can show you what they look like. So let me wash my hands again. It is a very, very sticky job. And then the best bit of all is choosing the Smarties. So I'm going to tip those out onto my work surface. They won't come out. There we go. I like them to be multicoloured, but if you want, you can choose all the same colour for one cookie. But I'm going to do my multicoloured. So 5 Smarties on each one, and just push them down into the dough. There we go. Nearly there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Trying to make them all different colours on each cookie. 5. That's going to get a bit more tricky as we go through the pack of Smarties. 3, 4. Oh, I'm going to have to put 2 purple ones on this one. 5. And I'm going to have to open, oh no I won't, I was going to say open another packet of Smarties, but I'll just use the ones I've got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got one for Mrs. Hudson. You now need to pop these in the oven, and you bake them at 180 degrees for approximately 8 minutes. Now the trick to these is not to overcook them, so 180 degrees for about 8 minutes. So I'll see you in 8 minutes. So welcome back. My cookies actually took a little bit longer than 8 minutes. They took about 12. So between 8 and 12 minutes, and you'll know when they're cooked because they start to go a little bit brown around the edges. Now remember, we are making cookies and not biscuits, and there is a difference. Cookies need to stay a little bit squidgy in the middle so they're nice and soft, you know, like those Millie's cookies. So let me show you mine a little bit closer. I haven't done a very good job at keeping them all the same size, so I think there's going to be a fight for this one here. It's massive. So this recipe did actually make 12 cookies. There's another 4 in the oven as we speak. So Smarties cookies. I can't wait to eat them. What you'll need to do is pop them on a cooling tray. They will harden up as they cool down. These are still really, really hot at the moment, so I'm going to take them out of the tray in a minute. So do enjoy them, but remember they are full of sugar, so take care not to eat too many in one go. I hope you enjoyed making cookies with me today. We'll be on to a savoury dish next time, and if there's anything you want me to have a go at cooking, then pop me a message and I'll have a go. But for now, enjoy baking, continue to send photos so we can upload them onto the Bake Off gallery, and I'll be choosing a star baker later in the week. Take care everyone, and thanks for watching. Bye!